Okay, Chairman, we're live now.
Thank you everyone for joining us in the committee meeting tonight. Can I wish everyone a happy new year, and I hope everyone have had a relaxing break over the Christmas holidays. As you know, the virus is spreading like there's no tomorrow. So please look after yourself. Don't visit your family and friends, and discourage others from meeting each other. I know I had to say that. Normally we don't say that at the start of the meeting, but the virus is spreading, disproportionately. Right. First of all, Jane, can I have apologies, please? Have we got any apologies for tonight's meeting?
Yes, we've got apologies from Councillor George Adam and Julie Henderson.
George Adam and Julie Henderson. Is everybody else with us?
No. Not yet, no.
Right, okay. Councillor Nadeem Ahmed, can I ask if you were of anybody from your group?
No one sent any apologies to me.
So they might be joining us soon.
Yes, they should.
Okay.
I'm here already.
That's good. Declaration of interest. Anybody? Can I declare interest in one of the agenda items? Planning applications, item 6, planning applications, and it's the last application on the agenda. 28 Newport Street, Nelson. I have done some work at the property in the past.
Councillor Mrs. Kathleen Shaw, Pendleborough Council.
Is now joining.
So I will not be taking part in the meeting on that application. Public question time. I believe we've nobody down to speak. Am I right to say that, Jane?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Minutes of the last meeting.
Move them, Chair.
Move them.
Second them.
Right, thank you. Anybody have any issues with the minutes from the last meeting? Otherwise, I'll take that as everybody's happy with them. Item 4, progress report.
Move it, be noted.
Move it and be noted. Yep, thank you. Item 5, police issues. We've got a police officer there with us, Ali, and Ali, it's all yours. Please let us know how things been over the last month or two.
Yeah, thank you. To be honest, it's been quite good this December. I've been looking at statistics. I've looked first from November to December. Burglaries on the whole have gone down from 13 to 6. Vehicle crimes decreased from 30 to 8. There's no records of hate crime. All the rest of the crime, which is like assaults, antisocial behaviour, criminal damage, etc., they've all decreased slightly. The only thing that hasn't decreased this month since November is commercial burglaries, but that's gone up by 1. But I'd say it's still a low figure of 8 to say we're in the Christmas period, where I'd personally expect it to be higher. Then I've looked at December 2020 back to December last year. It's confusing now, we've gone into a new year, but from December 2020, from December 2019, thefts decreased by 31. Burglaries, residential, which is like your homes, decreased by 21. All crime on the whole decreased by 79. Now, looking at the statistics, it would have decreased even more because our statistics, for some reason, has included Bradley Ward, which we don't actually cover. Well, you can imagine it's a lot lower than even I've said. I think the only big thing I've noticed is that antisocial behaviour is the biggest issue in each individual ward, and overall that brings our overall crime up. even though all crime is down by 79 logs incidents to say. So yeah, we have noticed antisocial behaviour is the highest problem. We're going to try and resolve that. We do think it's mainly been over Christmas time and New Year's Eve. There's been lots of preachers and gatherings, and obviously we're encouraging people to report these to us. So we've had a lot of COVID reports in response to them, and multiple people, specifically, you know, in your hotspot areas, walking areas, the parks and stuff. And we've got certain households that have been throwing parties, and not bad in the rules to say. So we've got a COVID patrol caravan. I think they're going to increase them COVID patrols. It's a bit of uncertainty because I don't know if we're going into national lockdown tonight, I don't think. And if we do, it might be better for us. It might tighten things. People might listen more. It might reduce logs to safer antisocial behaviour. We will increase our patrols in hotspots. I would like a bit of feedback though with hotspots. Is there any specific areas that anyone would like to inform me of they'd like me to target that I might not be aware of? I can't hear someone. Is anyone talking? Oh.
Sorry, I was muted. Councillor Nadeem Ahmed.
Thank you for that, Holly, for the update. Just a couple of points I want to make, please. First of all, I represent the ward of Whitefield. There's been complaints and a number of instances of burglaries and attempted burglaries in the Carr Road area of Nelson. So I just want to bring that to your attention, if that can be looked into. And the second one is a more of a wider point across Nelson and Pendle, where there's been reports of vehicles or parts of vehicles being stolen during the last 2-3 weeks, where groups of people or an individual is going around and stealing car parts, just even from vehicles being parked on the street. I don't know how they're doing it, but apparently it's just a few-minute job, and they're off with expensive parts and causing lots of damage to people's property. That's the second point. So can I have just answers to them, or your comments on them 2 points first, please?
I hope I'm not muted. Yeah. So I know there's quite a couple of attempted burglaries.
Yeah.
I think we were unsuccessful. A vehicle was the other night that was related to something. I'll have a look into it further. With regards to the vehicles, I'm thinking maybe registration plates. I've looked into one of them incidents where people take the plate. However, the vehicle crash, considering it's increased from 30 to 8 since November, I don't think there's been many reports for vehicle crashes.
Yeah, that might be the problem. I think it was. I'm not good with cars, but I think it's the catalytic converter, I believe, that they're stealing them.
Yeah,
it's an expensive part of a vehicle.
No, I can't myself. I've actually seen a login. Right. I can always look into it. I don't mind that at all. Getting back to it.
Yeah. Okay, please. Yeah. Thank you. And Saqib, can I just follow on with a question? Holly, you mentioned something about the figures, and then you mentioned the Bradley ward isn't included, or did I misunderstand?
No, the Bradley ward, it's been included in our statistics, so our overall totals will be a bit wrong, because the Bradley ward, well, I personally don't cover the Bradley ward. That's covered by the PCSO, who covers Barrowford, Bradley and Pendle. But I don't know. I didn't think the Bradley ward councils would be on this, or are they?
That's what confused me, what you said. Not sure if Iqbal can help.
So basically, what I mean is, we get all our statistics. What I'll do is, I think you'll get my email that I sent at the beginning of December with November stats.
Oh, that's too long ago, Holly. Can't remember.
No, I was hoping
No, I can't remember.
because if so, then I've got the right emails and I can just email you. It basically looks like this.
Yeah, I remember seeing something now. Yeah.
Yeah. I could always email you these forms before each meeting, so you can all have a good look at them, and then build up questions from them maybe next time.
Okay, that'll be great. Thank you. Thanks.
It might be
Oh, go on.
it might be easier if you email to Jane and Jane can forward it to us.
Yeah. No, good point.
That's fine. Councillor Zafar Ali, you want to come in?
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Holly, for the update. In terms of the email which you sent across, the one that I'm looking at is the one dated 11th of December. Is that the one, Holly?
Possibly. If it's got statistics on, it will be.
Yeah, that's fine. In terms of my query, I'm Borough Councillor for the Clover Hill Ward. Your colleagues were kind enough to keep me updated going back a couple of months now in relation to quite a serious event involving a number of cars and vehicles being damaged. I believe it was connected to a property on Napier Street. I won't mention the individuals concerned, but would you be kind enough just to shed some light on the current state of that case? Because it seems to have just sort of dropped off from residents' radars, and obviously they're asking for an update quite regularly from myself, and I appreciate the festive period brings about a number of other challenges. Are you able to bring me up to speed?
I'd need to just confirm that he was arrested, but the male who caused the damage, basically we all did extra patrols on every night and every day, whether some residents saw it or not. There was extra overtime for police officers to be out and about and seen on the street. We drive-bys on the street. We did inquiries about the house all over the street. The male who did the damage, he was wanted, so I think by now he'll have been arrested and charged with the damages. Now, I will dig up on it and make sure that he's been arrested. If not, he'll be wanted. But they have the male in question anyway.
Thank you, Holly. Thank you, Holly. Through you, Chairman. One further question for yourself is in relation to the speeding vehicles on Chapel House Road. I have raised this issue previously in the past with your colleagues. Are you aware, Holly, of any operations that have taken place on that stretch of Chapel House Road, going from Brunswick Street all the way to the top of Halifax Road? Are you aware of any reports? I just want to sort of understand the sort of local policing knowledge on how you look at that issue of speeding on that stretch.
Looking at Chapel House Road in particular, we are all aware that speeding occurs on all the streets coming off that street and that street. However, it's safe to get a speed camera on and enforce it. It's not. It wouldn't pass the risk assessment on that street. We couldn't get we've all been trained on the manual speed device where it's handheld, fire it at a car. We can hit a car's speed for up to 300 metres. However, because Chapel House Road and the roads leading off from it, Clover Hill, they're so narrow, you struggle to fit two cars past each other. It's just not safe for us to stop a car. There's nowhere we can stop the vehicle and get enough distance to fire our speed device. I think the way forward with that one is obviously presence, getting registrations. If someone has a specific vehicle which they see speeding, by all means they can pass the registration to me and I can go and speak with that person and warn them about the speeding and put it on our TAC Ops. We've got our TAC Ops team, which is like traffic, and pass on registrations to them for them to keep an eye out on. And more often than not, they're issuing Section 59s. Similarly, if someone has video evidence of a vehicle driving not carefully, causing alarm and distress, we can also issue Section 59s. So I think that's the best way forward with that road, just because I don't think it would pass our risk assessment. I will try and do a risk assessment with an officer, whether we can get out, or even maybe a bit of reassurance. We could always get it out and not enforce it, a bit of engagement. I don't think it's possible on that road, that's all.
Thank you, Holly.
Anybody else? Jen, is there anybody else who wants to speak?
Nobody's put their hands up, Chairman.
That's fine. Thank you very much, Holly, for all that update. And
No.
Jane, if we can all have Holly's email address, then individual councillor can approach her as and when they need to.
Okay, that's fine. I'll sort that.
Okay, then that's fine. Thank you very much for that, Holly.
You're welcome.
If you want to stay with us.
Questions, feel free if anyone wants to email me personally. Do you want me to read out my work number and everyone can jot it down?
No, send us an email, please, Jane.
Oh, no, that's
We'll have
fine. Okay, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye.
Yeah. Moving on to item 6 on the agenda, planning applications to be determined. First application in front of us is erection of a single-story rear extension and dormer to front roof slope at 165 Chaplas Road, Nelson. That is in your ward, Councillor Zafar Ali. You will know better. Can I ask you to comment?
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, I'm very familiar with the locality of this application. I will be moving and requesting support to move for approval of the application, bar 2 subjectivities. I've noted in the report there's a discussion around the natural slate issue as opposed to Marley tiles. I'm happy to take on that recommendation, along with a pitched roof to the dormer. And the reason why I state that is there is currently an ongoing application / appeal at number 179, which will also most likely end up, whatever the outcome of the appeal is, with a pitched roof on the dormer. So with those 2 subjectivities, I'd kindly request somebody to second me in terms of approval of this application. Dormers, generally speaking, this committee has been extremely friendly when it comes to the point of dormers. I don't see why this application should have any hostility towards it, and I'd urge colleagues to support the application. I'm happy to move that, Chairman.
Councillor Nadeem Ahmed, I see your hand up first.
Yeah, happy to second that, particularly with the comments Councillor Zafar Ali's made in terms of the pitched roof. So more than happy to support that recommendation. Thank you.
Yeah, that's fine. So that's been moved by Councillor Zafar Ali, seconded by Councillor Nadeem Ahmed. Just like to say, from a builder point of view, it is sometimes the roof doesn't work out with a pitched roof, but we've got application already in from 179 where there is a possibility of them getting application approved. So it will be better if this one is a pitched roof. So I'm quite happy to support it as well. Jen, can we take a vote, please? Do you want to call the names out?
Yes, Chairman, will do.
Yeah.
Right, so this it's been moved to approve this application. So if you're in favour of that, say 4. If you're against. Councillor Nadeem Ahmed.
4.
Councillor Zafar Ali.
4.
Councillor Mohammed Amma.
4.
Councillor Eileen Ansar. Don't think she's present. Councillor Mohammed Aslam.
4.
Councillor Thomas Cooney. Councillor Tommy Cooney.
4.
Councillor Mohammed Iqbal.
4.
Councillor Asjad Mahmood.
4.
Councillor Neil McGowan.
4.
Councillor Mohammed Saqib.
4.
Councillor Kathleen Shaw.
4.
Councillor Yvonne Tennant.
4.
Councillor Sheila Wicks.
4.
Okay, that's been approved, Chairman.
Right, thank you for that, Jane. Moving on to second application on the agenda, This is a demolition of existing garage, erection of two-story side extension and two-story rear extension. And that is at 26 Lancaster Gate, Nelson. This is from Wolverton, and we don't have councillors from Wolverton.
Chairman, you do have a speaker on this item.
Mr.
Shah.
Sorry. Yeah. Is he with us, Jen?
Yes, he is.
Mr. Shah, if you can hear me, you've got 5 minutes to. Yeah, you've got 5 minutes to speak on this application.
Okay.
Tell us what you want to say.
All right. Well, I've been in contact with the case officer all day today. Is it Laura Bonds? She said she's got two problems with the application. Firstly, it's the 45-degree rule because it's a double story extension at the back, and I think it was the pitch roof was the second thing, and the boundary. Sorry, there were three. Firstly, I just want to explain is that the description that she has wrote down on the proposal, it says erection of two-story side extension. I'm talking about a side extension and two-story rear extension, including a basement level beneath. My house at the front is 2 stories high. At the back is 3 stories high. So my ground level is not my basement, it's my floor in the middle. So when I open my door, that's my ground level, and I've got basement level underneath. So what I am proposing is to extend my ground level with the basement level underneath. I think she's not understanding what I'm trying to say is that the basement level underneath is not habitable. I mean, there's damp in there. There's no access to get to the basement from my actual house. And the basement is ground floor. So as far as I'm concerned, and the people that have asked about this, they're saying the light issue shouldn't be a problem for it because it should go through as a ground level extension and not a double story extension on the back. So that's what I wanted to put forward. If you got that.
Right. Thank you for that, Mr. Shaw.
Yeah.
That's fine. Is that Councillor Zafar Ali? I see your hand is up.
Yeah, Chairman, Councillor Iqbal had his hand up first. I'm more than happy for him to come in.
Sorry, I just didn't see his hand up at all. So, Councillor Iqbal, if you want to come in first.
Yeah, thanks, Chairman. I mean, obviously, we've got the application before us as it is. The applicant, I understand, is proposing a change to the application. So I think that the way to deal with this, there's twofold. One, we can either defer it to allow amended plans to come in and officers to assess that, or the other option is, and I'm be curious to what Alex has to say, is that we delegate grant consent subject to amended plans meeting the required things that our planners need addressing in terms of the 45-degree rule angle. But I'm happy to move whichever one Alex thinks is the most practical way forward.
This extension at the backside extension is not causing any issues whatsoever. As you heard, Mr. Shah, you mentioned about 45-degree angle, and that is from the neighboring property. Pitched roof to single story, that is at the back as well. The extension being built right on the boundary, that is again with the neighboring. This is regarding the extension at the back. So this issue to this, there is no issue to the side extension. We're only talking about the rear extension here, Iqbal. In normal circumstances,
it's one application. I don't think we can break it into components because it's one application.
But what I do want to say is, Councillor Iqbal, we normally allow 4-meter extensions, 4-meter deep extensions, and this is a 4-meter deep extension. So it's nothing more than what basically we normally allow anyway. Pitch roof is a design, matter. Sometimes the roof workouts, a pitch roof workouts better than the flat roof, but sometimes it doesn't. So, it's one of them things until somebody looks into it deeply, you can't tell whether the pitch roof will be better or not. Being on the boundary, building the extension right on the boundary, I'm not aware of the house. I haven't had the chance to visit the property. I think it's more of a building control issue if the extension is is granted. The planning is granted for this. I'll take the lead. Obviously, Councillor Councillor Zafar Ali's hand is up. So I'll wait and see what Councillor Zafar Ali is going to say.
Can we just listen to some words of wisdom from Alex first?
Yeah, happy for Alex to come in. Yeah, no problem.
Alex, please.
Yeah. Thank you, through you, Chair. In terms of the impact, the issue here is that in terms of impact, this is a two-storey extension. As Mr. Shah said, at the rear of the property, it's a three-storey property. And this is a two-storey extension on the boundary. The Design Principles SPD requires that two-storey extensions in such circumstances are set off the boundary by 1 metre.
Alex, sorry.
There's an extension existing at the neighbouring property. And
Alex,
it's an issue of overgo.
Sorry, Alex.
Sorry.
I believe you have them slides to show on the screen as well.
I do, yes. Can you see that?
Right. Yeah.
So, as you can see on there, from the ground level at the rear, the impact on the rear of the property and the garden of the property would be of a two-storey extension, even though it's at the basement level.
Maybe if you can move the cursor to the rear elevation of the property, then we can see where it's finishing. It's finishing flat, obviously, with the flat roof, isn't it?
Okay, so you can see here, that's the rear extension. This is the ground level of the garden at the neighbouring property. And this is what the impact would be on that level in terms of the side wall. Yeah. In terms of determination of the application, if the committee were minded to delegate it for approval subject to amended plans to resolve these issues, then that's something that we would be able to look at doing. And we could always bring the application back if they're not resolved.
Right, okay.
Chairman, can I move that course of action then, please?
Yeah, I'm happy to second that, Chairman.
So, Iqbal, can you please repeat what your course of action is?
So what I'm proposing is that we delegate grant consent to the planning manager, subject to amended plans being received. So basically what we're saying is that we approve it subject to the amended plans coming in. If there's a dispute, it'll come back to us next month. As easy as that.
Right, okay.
Every confidence in Alex to get it resolved.
Councillor Zafar Ali, you obviously...
I'm happy to second that.
Yeah. You're happy to second that. Right, okay, we'll go to vote then. There is no other proposal, is there? No, I don't see that. Please, Jane, if you can call...
Chairman, can I suggest something? We do this at other committees. I mean, to save yourself and Jane time, if anybody's against something, they can just shout out, can't they?
Is everyone happy with that?
Yeah, fine.
Jen, are you happy with that?
Yes, I'm fine with that. That does happen at other committees as well, yeah. If there was two decisions on the recommendations on the table, then we would do a vote, but this seems quite straightforward if everybody's happy with it.
Well, unless you have any issues with it, we're taking that all are supporting this application. If there is any difference, please, you can speak now.
Chairman, I only suggested that because I know how keen Nadeem is to listen to Boris at 8 o'clock, so he wants to leave.
Can't wait.
Right. Okay. So we take that that we delegate grant consent to planning manager in consultation with the chairman. I suppose it was just a standard process. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. Application at 55 Camden Street, Nelson. That's the erection of a.
Chairman, sorry to interrupt. I know the applicant has probably left, but it's fine. I had a point, but it's fine. The applicant's now left. I just thought maybe you could just summarize it.
Sorry.
But it's fine. It's dealt with anyway. Cheers. Thank you.
Erection of a single-story rear extension at 55 Camden Street, Nelson. Again, that's in Walden Ward. Anybody aware of the area or application? Anybody wants to take lead, or can I take the lead myself? Councillor Nadeem Ahmed.
Yeah, I mean, when I looked at this, and I've read it, I've not been down to see it, but obviously we all know the area and the particular street we're referring to, and I can't get my head around what the objection would be on this one. It's a single-story extension. So can I just ask Alex to assist, please?
Alex?
Yes, the issue in this case is that it's a 4.7 metre extension on the boundary. In addition to that, it's a property that has quite a significant drop in levels. So on the boundary, it's I think the height of the extension is something like 3.8 metres, I think it is. Yeah, 3.8 metres on the boundary. So that's an issue.
I mean,
windows.
Sorry, yeah, I understand that, but in terms of the length of the extension, is it the whole yard?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
But
length.
But yeah, in terms of length, yeah. But there's nothing unusual about that, though, is there? Because we've got numerous examples all across Pendle and Nelson, where there's the extension is the full length of the backyard.
This has been an ongoing issue for years with Nelson Committee. It's a matter of the Design Principles SPD. It specifies that extensions of up to 4 metres are acceptable in this circumstance. Anything over 4 metres, then we have to look at the 45-degree measurement. And in the vast majority of cases with terraced houses, it's going to breach the 45 degrees if it's over 4 metres. So it's a matter of it's not in accordance with Design Principles SPD to approve an extension of over 4 metres unless there are mitigating circumstances, which there aren't here. And so we have that guidance in place. It's an impact on the neighbour. So there would be the potential of costs against the council if there were to be a complaint made to the Ombudsman, as there have been in other councils where councils have routinely ignored their design guidance. So it is of potential costs against the council, and therefore it's something that would result in referral to Policy and Resources Committee if this is if the committee's minded to approve this.
I'm sorry, I'm going to show my ignorance, but I fail to understand because for it to be referred to Policy and Resources Committee would have to be a significant departure from policy. We've got numerous examples, like I said, including where I live, my own property. It was actually Pendle Council. It was done under a grant scheme. I know it was a number of years ago, and we've got extensions carried out to the full length of the yard, and that's what I can't get my head around in terms of this particular one, because if it's the full length, and you mentioned about the neighbours and the impact on the neighbours, if it's a single-story extension, how would that cause a significant problem for the neighbours?
As I said, we have the Design Principles SPD. that has been in place for a number of years, but obviously there are extensions that were granted before that's in place. However, we are required specifically in situations where it impacts on neighbours. Design is a different consideration. The committee has, can make its own mind up over design. In a circumstance like this, where it is an impact on the neighbours, we've got specific guidance that anything over 4 metres is not acceptable. We cannot go against that, and that would result in the potential for costs against the council if there were to be a complaint made to the Ombudsman. And so it's not necessarily in all cases a significant departure from policy. However, a significant risk of costs against the council, and that is referral to policy.
I'll leave it there. That's fine. Thank you.
Excuse me, Chairman. Could I just ask everybody to mute if you're not speaking? There's an awful lot of background noise, and it's difficult to hear people when you're speaking. Thank you.
Alex, what I work it out as is 0.7 meters extra compared to 4 meter that what we allow. 0.7 meter is basically 2 feet, and that is 17.5% extra. That is not a significant, significantly bigger than what we normally allow. I mean, yes, you're saying there might be a cost involved, but these are terrace properties. These were built like 120, 130 years ago. If it was a semi-detached or a detached property, and somebody's trying to build, much bigger extension and everything, then it's a different thing. It's one of them things, maybe the rainwater is dropped into the next door's garden. That's how they are. That's how they are designed. We can't do anything about them. So I'm not sure what council is trying to save, but not giving planning permission for 4.5, 2 foot extra, and what they're going to achieve there. I just honestly, I just can't understand sometimes how the planning officers work with these terrace properties. I'm in favor of approving this application. If he is going to go to Policy and Resources, let it go. So I'll propose from the chair that we approve this application.
I'll second that, Chairman.
Thank you for that. Jen, do you want to call the names out, or however you want to do it?
If anybody's against that, do they want to speak up, or would you prefer me to do a vote?
Nadeem, what would you say?
Speak up.
I mean, I don't think there's anyone against it, so I think we're okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, thank you for that. Next application, 35 Percy Street. Again, single-story extension at the back, and again, this is down for refusal. And I believe if this is approved, this will also go to Policy and Resources. Just one question to Alex. Alex, what's the depth of this extension?
This one is 4.5 meters, and it's almost identical to the previous application. The same reasons why it would be referred to Policy and Resources Committee.
Alex, this is from my small finger to the thumb is a 9-inch, and this is 18-inch. This is how big this extension is from what you normally allow. This is not on. This is 500 mil. You need to have a chat with Neil. I'm sorry to say, Iqbal, you being leader of the council, and Nadeem Ahmed, Councillor Nadeem Ahmed, you leader of the. Please have a chat with Neil and ask him.
Chairman, with respect though, that and I'm going to support this application, but this is nothing to do with the leadership of the council. All councillors voted for the policy, and it's a case of if it's 2 hands now, that then moves the bar up, and then next time it'll be 4 hands. So I'm going to support it, but this is nothing to do with the leaders of the Labour group or the Conservative group. I'll stick up for myself and Nadeem. This is a council decision.
Right. Okay. I'll second it from the chair to move forward. Anybody against this application? No, so that is approved and will go to Policy and Resources as the other one. I'll log out now so that Iqbal, can you take over, please, if you don't mind, or anybody else want to have a go at it?
I'm happy to take over. I can then select the council at the same time. Has he logged off yet? I think he has.
I'm just looking.
Yeah, I think he has.
Yes, he has. Yep. Okay.
Thanks, Jen. I'm going to move that we approve this application for dormers to the front slope. I mean, this is a gable end property that I'm aware of, and the reason that the pitch wouldn't work here is that they're awkward gables, and we've approved gable ends on a flat roof before. So I will move that we approve the application, subject to standard conditions. Do I have a seconder? Alex, are you seconding me?
I'll happily second, Chairman.
Okay, thanks, Ashad. Alex?
Yes, through you, Chair. I would suggest in this case that, as it's a flat roof dormer, similar to the previous application, that it's delegated subject to amended plans for a pitched roof dormer. And appropriate.
I'm sticking to. I don't think a pitch will work here, in my opinion. So I'm going to stick with a flat roof and just leave it as that, as the application is set out. That has been seconded by Ashad. Is there anybody against that? Nope. Well, that's approved. Just bear with me. I'll ring the chairman before he gets a brew to come back on. Meanwhile, Nadine can brief us all what Maurice is going to say.
That'll ruin the surprise.
You're just logging back on in a second.
Thank you for that. Moving on to item 6B, appeals.
Can I move it be noted, Chairman?
Everybody happy with that course of action? Yeah?
Yep, fine.
Item 7, enforcement unauthorized uses.
Move there be noted, Chairman.
Chairman, can I just ask for an update, please? Can I just ask for an update? It's not on here. It's not on here for some reason, but there was a application or a meeting. We've moved a resolution in terms of enforcement action for this. I think it's what's it called, the Springbank buildings on every street. Trading from there. There was a resolution passed by the area committee that because they don't have planning permission, enforcement action would be taken. It's through you, Chair. Can I ask Julie or Alex if they're aware of what action has been taken, if any?
Alex, do you want to tell us about? Sorry, Julie, you want to comment?
So I was just going to say on the planning side, I'm not aware of any action at this stage, but Alex might be able to advise.
On the planning side of things, we've been trying to establish the exact previous use of the building, because with the changes to the use classes order that came in September, depending on the previous use, a retail use might not need permission. So the current circumstances, based on the information that we've been supplied with, is that the most recent use of the building was for the manufacture of medical equipment that would have fallen within the use class B1 that is now within use class E, along with retail. So it does look at the moment like that building could be used for a retail use without any need for planning permission. The application is still in, and we're discussing with the applicant whether or not that should be withdrawn and a certificate of lawfulness application possibly submitted instead. But it may well be the case that it does not require permission at all.
In terms of what you just said, Alex, what evidence has been provided for the previous use?
Well, a description of the use, and that's backed up by information that I've been able to gather as well.
But in order for the certificate of lawfulness, what's the number of years it has to be used for that particular purpose?
It wouldn't have to be. It would be immediate. So it was a building of that size that was previously a B2 use. If it's used for B1 use, that doesn't require permission at all. It doesn't require any length of time of use. So if that's the previous use, then that would be the lawful use.
But in order for the certificate of lawfulness to be approved or granted, which is what it seems like the Pendle Council's officers are advising the applicants to do, what is the number of years it has to be used for lawfully for the previous use?
It wouldn't, because it would be a permitted change of use. It would be immediate. It wouldn't need. It's obviously been. It's been an industrial building for quite some time. So to become lawfully used needs to be in place for 10 years.
Yeah.
However, there are certain changes of use that, so if it's an industrial building, that's a B1 or a B2 use, it can either continue in that use or it can change from B2 to B1 under permitted development rights. And that's immediate. It's as soon as it starts to be used for that is its lawful use.
So there doesn't have to be, correct me if I'm wrong, so my understanding is from what you're saying, they don't have to have used it for the 10-year period. They could have used it for a month and then...
Yes, a day.
Right, okay. Yeah. That's fine.
You're on mute.
Sorry. Alex, yeah. Alex, do you want to also mention about the officer that we've employed, the new enforcing officer? Obviously, he hasn't been in the office, or the previous one left. Yeah, I'll say, yeah. The previous officer we had is obviously not with us anymore, so the council have employed another officer, and he will be looking into enforcement from now on. And there's 3 applications we see on the enforcement notices. They will be looked into in the near future. Next item is item 8, capital program 2020-2021. As there's only £1, so we'll leave it till we get a report next month, I would imagine. Yeah, Julie, that's correct, isn't it? So we'll get a report next month.
Yeah.
Right, that's fine. Item 9, 46 to 74 Holly Street, Nelson, residents only parking scheme. This is open Southfield, so I will ask one of the Southfield councillors to have whatever they want to say. Yvonne, Councillor Yvonne Tennant.
Yeah, sorry, I'm having trouble with the sound. Yeah, I know it says that the school was open, but what dates? Have we got? It said the school was open when the survey was done, but do we know what dates they were done on?
No, I haven't spotted that anywhere.
There's an awful lot of on where it says survey results. It says page 2. It should be noted that the local school was open when the survey was carried out. Now, but it doesn't actually say what the dates were. Now, I'm not saying the school wasn't open, but it's not been quite the same this year, has it? Do you know what I mean? There's like been staff missing and whatever. And I know teachers park a lot on that street. I had a similar. I live right by Lomershire Juniors, and we had a similar issue there. And parking's been a lot less by us since COVID began, and that's because not all the teachers are in all of the time. So I'd just be interested to know the dates were that the surveys were done.
I don't think we have that to hand, Yvonne.
Oh, Julie's got a hand up.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't see that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go
Okay,
on, Julie.
Yeah, I haven't got exact dates, but it was in the run up to the report being written. So I think it was November, December time.
Okay. Right, thanks. December. And would there be a chance to renew this at some point in the future? To review this at some point in the future?
Maybe I think after 6 months, Julie.
Yeah, through you, Chair, within the report, it's suggesting that we wait first and see if there's a response from the county council, because there is an issue that the county don't seem to be enforcing at the moment for parking on the sort of the zigzags near the school. So that could be impacting on numbers. So we could see what response we get from county, and then potentially look at doing a further survey if they do start enforcing and it's likely that there's a bigger problem.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So, Yvonne, shall we note it for the time being, and maybe in 6 months' time or so come back?
Yeah, I don't know if Emma's got anything to say, or if he's still here.
Chair?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, Chair, can I suggest, I'm just going to make the point Julie's made in terms of Lancashire County Council have said that they're going to look into it and possible enforcement. So I suggest we wait to see if County Council do anything. If they do, it might solve the problem anyway. And if Lancashire County Council don't do anything, we can always bring it back and have another look at it.
Councillor Nadeem Ahmed, it will make things worse if they enforced it, because at the moment people are parking cars on the zigzag, whereas then they'll be moving them cars into the street, and then things will be even worse. But we'll leave it for the time being.
But we can't have people parking on zigzag, because that's been the problem, because it's causing a danger to the children. So I think that's been the problem, not just at this particular school, but I think it's more schools, to be fair. So I think I would say just leave it to Lancashire County Council for the time being. And if we're not happy with it, we can always look at it again. Yeah.
Councillor Yvonne Tennant, do you want to come back in, or is that?
Yeah, no, I mean, that sounds fine, but I mean, I think county have got to be chased to enforce it, because as Councillor Ahmed said, it's not right if people are just parking on zigzags. You know, they're there for a reason, and it does put the kids in danger. So I think we need to push county on this.
Right, okay. That's fine. We'll move on to the next item. Reopening of High Street, and this update. Julie, do you want to come in?
Yeah, Chair. Since the report was written before Christmas, obviously there have been greater restrictions, Tier 4 at the moment, and who knows, in a few minutes' time it might be more of a lockdown. So I had a discussion earlier with the report author on this, and he's recommending that if the committee wish to go ahead with this proposal, that we say that it's agreed but will be implemented at appropriate time when any sort of restrictions are over, so that the shops are open again, because it's not really appropriate at this stage because there's so few shops open, and we don't want to be encouraging people particularly to go and do shopping when the advice is to stay at home.
Of course. Any councillors? I see Councillor Nadeem Ahmed's hand is up.
Yeah, I think what Julie said is, or suggested is sensible. There's no point doing it at the moment. The only concern I have is in terms of the deadline. We have to spend the money by 31st of March. But I suppose we've got a couple of more meetings before then, haven't we? And we can review the situation, maybe put it on the agenda again next month, and then we can discuss it again if needed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm happy with that. Is everyone happy with that course of action? Then we'll move on to next.
Now, hang on a sec. I think we need to have another meeting, the town centre reopening meeting, as soon as possible. Really, it's quite a while since we've had one, so I think we need to have the town centre reopening committee meeting as soon as possible, even if we are all in lockdown from tonight.
Yeah, I agree with that, Yvonne.
Yeah, that's fine. Councillor Zafar Ali, can I ask you to send an email to the officer and organize a meeting, and then we'll have a meeting?
No problem.
Please,
No problem.
Okay, thank you. Item 11, public toilets facilities in Nelson Town Centre. I started basically first time I asked this item to go on the agenda, and I will take the lead. I understand there's never any money with the council. Since I've been the councillor, I don't know, 16 years, every time you ask officers for any money, well, where do we get the money from? But obviously, we approve money every single month at Policy and Resources. There's never probably been a meeting when no money was approved. Only last month, we approved a lot of money to buy a property next door to Town Hall, old education office. And I wonder if there was any possibility to use that funding to purchase this, if it has not already been included in the costing, and to basically refurbish this property. So can I ask that this item is sent to Policy and Resources to look into Nelson Town deal funds to sort the capital toward the buying and refurbishing of it, and then maybe we could speak to the town council to take the responsibility of managing it and for the maintenance and so for the future. We just happen to have Councillor Zafar Ali, who's the chairman of Nelson Town Council, and I will look toward him and see what he gotta say. And we've got a Councillor Nadeem Ahmed, who happens to be the leader of the Conservative group. So two of you guys, please have some say in this this item.
Yeah, I'm happy with the course of action to take the matter to Policy and Resources Committee Chairman, and then depending on the outcome of the discussion therein and the various proposals that no doubt will arise from that committee, we can, look to form some sort of coalition with the town council to try and get this issue resolved. So I'm happy for it to go to Policy and Resources Committee, and we can, look at solutions and options thereafter.
Councillor Nadeem Ahmed, do you want to come in, or no? Are you happy with that?
Yeah, can do. No, yeah, I think it is an item which needs to be discussed. There is a problem in Nelson in terms of toilet facilities, which you've raised a number of times. So I think we do need to discuss it. Where it will go, I'm not so sure, but I'm always open for discussion, and I think it should be discussed at Policy and Resources Committee and we'll see that where that leads us.
Okay then. Jen, you've got that?
Yes, that's fine,
Right,
Chairman.
okay. Item 12, environmental blight. There's nothing on the agenda that we need to discuss tonight. So we'll move on to item 13. And these all items, if I'm right, are in Whitefield.
Yeah.
And Councillor Nadeem Ahmed, am I right to say that you put them on the agenda?
I have, yeah. And the reason being, yourself and other people who use AskChad as well will have seen these issues, all three of them, in Whitefield particularly. So I'll deal with them one by one. The first one is Car Road Nelson block drain.
Is now exiting.
I mean, I've reported this to Lancashire County Council a number of occasions. As soon as when you go up Car, because I walk past here, so I see it, and the school kids going past, and I've seen children and women with the children who have been absolutely drenched by vehicles going past, some of them deliberately, just going into the big, huge puddles and totally getting everyone wet through. And it's not acceptable. I've reported it to County Council. I've told them that there's a school there. There's kids walking during the morning, afternoon, and it's not a big job. And I don't understand why it's not being done. And I'm a bit upset about it. I've emailed Lancashire County Council a couple of times, but no action. And which is the reason I've had to bring it here, unfortunately. And I didn't want to. But so there is a block drain. As soon as you go over the bridge, it's just immediately, as soon as you go over the bridge, it's on the right-hand side. It's in the middle of the road. That's the first one. And the other one is Car Road and Pendle Street, just above the bridge. There's vehicles being parked in a very dangerous position. I've seen numerous near misses, and residents time and time are now saying, look, something needs to be done about the parked vehicles. I should have really raised it when Holly was here, and I forgot to raise it at that point. But it does need to be resolved. So maybe we can put it on again at the next month's agenda when Holly's here. And I will email her as well separately just to raise these issues. And there's going to be a serious accident, Car Road and Pendle Street as well. There's vehicles going. There have been a number of accidents already, but something serious is going to happen. So we need to take action now. And C is Lime Street. Again, part of Lime Street has been collapsing over time. It's been reported to Lancashire County Council. Nothing's been done. So all I'm basically asking, I think on these items, maybe if I can, maybe ask for a report back to the next meeting on these items, please.
So are you asking that we approach the County Council for these items?
Please, yeah. In terms of, yeah, A and B, it's a County Council and possibly a police issue as well between the two. And particularly Car and Pendle, that is a serious issue that needs to be resolved.
Right, okay.
And then a report be brought back with an update to this meeting, please.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I see Julie's hand is open. Councillor Mahmood, Asjad Mahmood's hand is open. Julie, do you want to come in first?
Yeah, I was just going to say we weren't aware through our engineers of the first and the third one, but we can follow that up with County Council. And the second one, Car Road, Pendle Street, I think is probably most appropriate to go to the next traffic liaison meeting. I'm not sure offhand the date of that, but we can ask that to be put on the agenda there.
Yeah, I'm happy with that, Julie. That's fine. Thank you.
Councillor Asjad Mahmood.
Yeah, thank you, Chair.
Councillor Mahmood.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Councillor Nadeem Ahmed has kind of covered the main things there. I think there is an issue. The block drain, I think, again, that's been going on for a couple of years. It's where the gates for the Nelson Health Centre are. So we need to address that. Yeah, definitely agree with that. The other thing is, the Car Road, Pendle Street. We raised this a couple of years back. I think the problem is a lot of the staff from Nelson Health Centre park there. And if I remember correctly, I think we wrote a letter a couple of years back. It did improve, but then it's gone back to dangerous levels again. And I think we need, because I think they have to pay to park and use facilities at Morrison's, to my knowledge. and for that reason they park on the local roads. And yeah, I think that needs action. Working with closely with the Primary Care Trust, or the CCGs as they're called these days. With that, can we include, where that drain problem is on Carr Road? Where the entrance to Clayton Close is from Carr Road side. Again, people are parking cars there next to the, is it Laurel Bank, or what it's called, on that side. Again, people parking. So it's quite dangerous when people are coming over Carr Road, or so if that can be included, that would be helpful. Regarding Lime Street, yeah, again, this has been ongoing for a number of years. It has been repaired occasionally, but I think there's a gully that runs from the odd number from one side, basically cutting across the road underneath the other side, and it is dangerous, and that is addressing quite urgently.
Yeah. Anybody else? Yvonne, I see your hand is up.
Yeah, in terms of the Carr Road Pendle Street one, I mean, I brought this up before. I've reported it to county as well. Got no response. Can we add the corner of Howard Street and Carr Road to that as well? Because what's happening at the moment, there's vans and stuff parking up on Howard Street right to the corner, and then on both corners on Carr Road, there's cars and vans parked right up to the corners there, and you cannot see what is coming over that bridge when you're coming out. You're taking your life in your hands coming out there, and a lot of the children come out from school along there as well, and you cannot see what's coming. It's a similar situation to Pendle Street one, that the cars parked right up to the corners, completely blocked vision. And it's getting worse. I'm parking opposite the junction as well, so there's not that much room to turn.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I agree with Yvonne in terms of what she said about Howard, because I've tried to come up there. It's really dangerous. So happy with that.
Right. Anybody else before we close the meeting? No. Well, a message has just come up that Prime Minister has announced a national lockdown for England. So I have no idea what that includes, from when or so. So that's the only message I've just seen. So, yeah. So everyone, please stay safe. The virus is spreading. It's unreal how much is spreading. So please look after yourself and your neighbours, and so all the best. Thank you very much for coming to the meeting tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.